Hey, what's up guys? So I'm making another video on a very interesting topic, but before I get into this, I want to talk about how I found it. I found it through a Cheeto on Twitter. He basically posted a tweet with a link saying, "Nah, bro, you are just cringe." And I watched the video, and boy, did I! It's a bad video. And of course, it's from basically a kind of a tea channel by someone by the name of Salem Tovar, and it's about cringe and apparently cringe content, even though it wasn't labeled as cringe content, it was labeled as commentary channels from back in the day, back in 2016. I shouldn't say back in the day, it's not that long ago, but basically the entire video is just shitting on people, and I'm not gonna go through the entire video because it's literally fucking 26 minutes long, and I'm not gonna just blatantly steal content, but I'm gonna go through a few clips and kind of just, you know, criticize this shit, because genuinely going through this, it was horrible listening to some of the viewpoints, because the viewpoints were genuinely just wrong on so many different levels. But let's just get into it.
If you've been exposed to any of those things, then you definitely know what the internet views as cringe. However, what the internet views as cringe doesn't really change, but it takes on new forms every year. We went from cringy cosplay convention compilations to now cringy TikTok cosplay compilations. The internet never does change. When the internet labels something as cringe, it's almost telling society that whatever the cringe is unacceptable. It's something made to be commented on and to be made fun of.
That's the first point I want to get into. That is not what cringe is on the internet. Nobody labels cringe as something that you need to be talked about because it's cringy, or you're not accepted in the community because it's cringy. I mean, Jesus Christ, commentary channels make cringy content all the fucking time, dude. And do you think, do you genuinely like think that we don't think we're cringe? We know we're cringe. We know what we put out there can be cringe sometimes. I'm pretty sure Cheeto and all these other people, they're well aware that some of their content, when they put it out, they regret it, or they think it's cringy, or they think topic they talk about is cringy. Especially the gameplay. Half of these people use Roblox as gameplay. That's cringe. I mean, I feel like you lack the ability to understand what the word cringe means, because you kind of just label it in this idea that it's supposed to mean if you're cringe, you're gonna get hated on, which no, you might be made fun of, but if you can't handle that, then I don't know what to tell you.
This is what basically encapsulates cringe culture. There is a line not to be crossed, and the line is constructive criticism and then just flat out bullying. Some trends on TikTok are problematic and they need to be called out for it. But that doesn't mean that I'm gonna go out of my way to bash them to the point where I tell them to harm themselves. The reason why I bring that up is because cringe culture tells us that it's more than okay to bash and bully people who fit under the cringe umbrella.
Again, I don't want to stop it too early, but this is another thing she points out. I just want to ask, who on the internet is bashing someone so much to the point where they're making them want to harm themselves? I mean, I've watched a lot of commentary channels, and I've never seen a single one hate on any TikToker or people on TikTok and be like, you need to go kill yourself. No, they make content on these people for saying and doing stupid things. And again, if they're being weird and doing weird things, and this is something I can't stress enough, you need to prepare yourself for the internet. If you're going on the internet thinking this is supposed to be a safe haven where you can just be whoever you want, however you want, and act as weird as you want to act, you're dead wrong. The internet is never gonna change. The internet is not this wonderland where you can just be whoever you want and just say whatever you want and do whatever you want. That's not how the internet works. And if you think that's how it works, buddy, or Salem, or however you go by your name, I don't know what to tell you, because that's not how the internet works. People on the internet are going to be rude. People on the internet are gonna criticize you. If you make a TikTok like the people on TikTok who dress up like as like a weird character, and then they do those like weird like lip syncing shit where they make weird faces and do weird shit, be prepared to be laughed at. Be prepared for people to sit there and be like, that's fucking cringe. Because I've done that before and I still think it's cringe, but that's what it is. I think what I put out on the internet can be cringe at times. I watch my videos sometimes and I realize, like, goddamn, this shit is cringe. Like, I listen to my voice and how I talk. That shit's cringe to me. A lot of this content is cringe, and some of the topics I even choose to talk about, cringe. That's what you have to prepare yourself for the internet. And if you can't fucking just realize that, then I don't know what to tell you.
Others has always been a type of humor for us. See, the thing is, back then, clowns were people who dressed up and made people laugh. But now, the clowns can be anyone, at any time, at any moment. You are now the clown. It sounds a little unfair, right? Well, then just don't do anything cringe and you won't get made fun of. However, what do you do when now more than ever on TikTok or YouTube, you get made fun of for simply existing? You can be into anime, but not too into anime. You can be into My Little Pony, but not too into My Little Pony. You can be into wolves, but not too... Oh. Well,
that's what she said. And you know what? What was that? Okay, James.
Oh my... Dude, you literally just contradicted yourself at that moment in time. You're listing off things that you're okay with being, but then once you get to the furry list, you're just like, oh, you're cringe, you're cringe. I know you're not exactly saying they're cringe, but like literally, dude, I agree. You can be into anime, it's not cringe. You can be into wolves in a different way. It's not fucking cringe. I mean, to me, some of it's cringe, yes, but I'm not gonna bash on you because you're a furry, dude. If you're a furry, go ahead. As long as you're not a zoophile, I don't care. But as long as you're just a furry and you respect it, I mean, and here's a prime example. I remember TikTok way back in the day when it was, you know, like just starting. There was a situation where it was basically humans versus furries, and it was a TikTok ongoing quote-unquote war. It was kind of like a war scenario where it would be a TikTok of a dude shooting like a Nerf gun, and it would be at the furries and stuff, and it'd be a furry war. And a prime example of this is that a lot of furries took that as a joke. They didn't take it deep. They didn't take it super deep. They took it as a joke, and they realized that it was a joke, and they went along with it. And it was an entire thing where people got together and just made fun of each other and just made content that was not bashing each other, but just a war against each other. And it all ended in a great way. And then you had the other group of furries who were always getting mad at it because it's hurting my feelings. And that's where I say, get off the internet. You do not need to be on the internet if you're gonna get that upset over something so little. And again, a lot of these points she tries to make, half of it exists. Barely anybody like that exists. Like, dude, do you really think commentary channels go on the internet purposely to just bash on these people and then send people over to hate them, or even themselves tell people to go kill themselves? No, it's not. I don't do that. I've never done that in my life. I have never sent myself to bash on somebody. And I used to watch Leafy. I used to watch all of them. I never personally went out of my way to bash other creators. I watched the content. I formed my own opinion, and then I went on with my fucking day. Before I get into the next part, I really want to point out that she basically just says, like, you can't be too into anime, you can't be too into My Little Pony. To an extent, I can agree, but, like, literally, yes, it's cringy if you're really, 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 really into shit like that. You know, like, if you're super into anime to a point where you, like, repeat lines and dress up as anime characters all the time, yeah, that's a little cringy. I mean, and I'm gonna say this to be perfectly honest with you. A lot of commentary channels like anime, really like anime. A lot of commentary channels like weird things. I mean, for a big example, like Jalen or Jaden, she is trans. So if you want to label us into this like field of people that, you know, like are just these bullies, then I guess Jalen doesn't fucking count. You know what I mean? Like, and I know she's not listing off trans people, but I'm just saying, like, she's different, right? She's different from just these people. She's trans. She's different. You know, a lot of these people aren't trans. A lot of these people aren't, you know, a different gender or change their gender. They're normal, basically normal, kinda, sort of, but we all like similar things. It's not like we just stand out from these people as just bullies who like separate things. We all like similar things. We just are people with common sense.
On the internet, anyone can over-enthusiastically share what they love at any moment, but at the same time, other people are allowed to give feedback. These two factors have created a very toxic relationship on the internet. You know when people tell a very bad and distasteful joke that is super offensive and then they just say, it's your fault for being sensitive. I just have dark humor. Well, now y'all know where it came from.
Again, that's a point that just doesn't make any sense. I hate it when people say this shit about people with edgy humor, and then they just are like, well, actually, no, the person with edgy humor is in the wrong because they shouldn't have made a joke that was edgy. I do agree that if you're gonna make an edgy joke around people who don't really like edgy jokes, and you willingly know that they're not into it, and then your excuse after saying it is just like, well, it's who I am, so deal with it kind of thing, like, yeah, I think you're kind of annoying and stupid. You're probably one of those fucking idiots who act like they're tough and shit. But buddy, it's okay to have edgy humor. It's okay for people to make jokes that are a little, you know, off the rails a bit, a little bit out of pocket. It's okay to make jokes like that. It's not wrong. People are allowed to do that. It's not, it's a fucking joke. If you can't, again, if you can't take a joke, you can't take a joke. And that's why I say, if you can't take a joke, then don't go on the internet, because the internet is supposed to be for free speech, basically. You're supposed to be able to do what you want on the internet, but you're basically saying, no, you're not. It's only supposed to be sunshine and rainbows. We're supposed to be nice to each other and treat each other with respect, instead of just talk about, make fun of, and do whatever we want on this platform, which is stupid. It's genuinely retarded. Very fucking stupid logic.
The peak of cringe culture was 2016. Oh Lord. Do we even want to venture that back? YouTube back then was so toxic, it's not even funny. They really thought they did some, but they really didn't. If you can remember 2016 YouTube, then you probably remember how there was certain content that was dedicated to just bullying little kids, people who were different, and people who were in marginalized groups. YouTubers who made this very popular were Leafy is Here, Rice Gum, and a whole bunch of other people that I can't even name. They would always have these thumbnails of the people they were making fun of, and it would always have the word cringe in it. This was also the height of SJW triggered, SJW pwned.
She already messed up, bro. She literally already messed up. You really had to include the old H3H3 video into that list of things when the situation was a good thing to talk about, because the lady in that video who was attacking the guy who made the humongous joke was a fucking asshole. She did nothing but bash the dude for making a dad joke. Oh, but no, H3H3 is wrong for bashing on the person who bashed on a guy who was, you know, he worked a dead-end job and all he was doing was, I believe he was at a court case or something, or he was doing something for, I don't even remember, but all he did was make a dad joke, and then he got bashed on by SJWs and hated on by SJWs, and then H3H3 went their way and passed H3H3. Fucking miss that, dude. Miss that shit, dude. But he basically went out of his way to support the guy because these guys were bashing him. Like, what? And again, the same thing goes for like Leafy and them. When they made content on people like these quote unquote marginalized groups, it wasn't to bash on them and what they are. Leafy never in the middle of the video was sitting there like, you're disgusting, you're a trans, oh, disgusting trans bitch. Like, he never went on there to call them disgusting because they're trans. He would shit on them because their viewpoints were absolutely horrible. Like, for example, when Leafy made a video on that girl for saying there were more than two genders. There isn't more than two genders. I'm sorry to tell you that, but like, it's called reality, and there isn't more than two genders. Like, you can believe it all you want, but scientifically, there's literally only two genders. And if you think there's more, then I don't know, maybe you need to seek help. But again, the videos were never explicitly trying to harm people. And a good example of this is Leafy would put disclaimers, I think later on in his videos, I believe, I haven't seen his videos in a long time, but basically saying don't send hate to these people. It is not the content creator's fault that the hate is being sent, it's these people who personally will go out to do it. And a great example is also nowadays Sensitive Society. Sensitive Society has said multiple times that he is not responsible for people who will send hate, and he doesn't care. And I agree. You can't put that on another person, on another content creator like Sensitive Society. He doesn't deserve to be bashed on just because he fucking made a video on somebody, especially when he's not even hating on them or hating on what they like and what they do. He's just basically pointing out the cringe and the terrible points that they make in their videos. And then when a fan goes to send hate to them, it's not his responsibility to make sure that every single one of those fans that send hate either get banned from his community or he has to take responsibility for them. It's not his job. And the same thing goes for Leafy. Leafy had millions of fans. You think you want Leafy to go around personally picking out every single person who went to send hate? No. And did Leafy want that? No.
Surprise, surprise. The same exact marginalized groups that were being targeted in 2016 are still being targeted to this day. And I don't think people understand the repercussions and dangerous and harmful results that come of making fun of people for literally no reason. Cringe culture is so much more than just making fun of people. It literally destroys their life.
Again, making fun of people for literally no reason, I call bullshit. They weren't making fun of people for literally no reason. They make fun of people because of something they've done. or something they've said. Half the videos you see nowadays is people basically just going on the internet and posting stuff like again, sensitive society. He'll post something about like a person bashing on another human being, like that Sonic lady who was like basically bashing on the guy who ran the manager because she was a trans lady and they thought she was a man, even though it's hard to tell between the person. It's this shit. They don't make fun of anything else but that shit. I mean, for example, I made a video a while ago about fat phobia. The lady who made fat phobia videos, her viewpoints are absolutely horrendous, and she's stupid and wrong about fat phobia. Again, you're not bad for being fat phobic, and fat phobic shouldn't even be a word that exists. It's okay to be healthy. It's okay to be that way. And again, it also shit on people who had eating disorders that were against being fat. For example, people who didn't eat at all and were super skinny. They'd get hated on because they're quote unquote fat phobic. But you're basically defending that because we're not allowed to make videos against these people because it's mean and hurtful. I'm sorry, but you genuinely need a reality check. Like, what the fuck?
Neurotypicals. Not displaying or characterized by autistic or other neurologically atypical patterns of thought or behavior. A neurotypical person is an individual who thinks, perceives, and behaves in the ways that are considered normal by the general population. Neurodivergent. Differing in mental or neurological function from what is considered typical or normal, frequently used to reference autistic spectrum disorders. Not neurotypical. These people who develop at a pace or in ways that diverge from those norms often find themselves left behind, ostracized, bullied, and othered. Normal perceptions and behaviors vary according to culture, gender, situation. For example, in some cultures, eye contact is considered very disrespectful, while in others is considered, well, a form of respect. So outside of the realm of being neurodivergent or neurotypical, there are many factors that can contribute to labeling someone as weird. POC, LGBT individuals may find themselves always kind of in the outskirts of the normals, but not many people understand just how dangerous othering is. The internet seems to always treat the unknown so poorly, but in the age of information, ignorance is a choice. People should be allowed to explore and openly talk about their sexuality, their identity, the things that they like, the hobbies that they have, without being put into one of the marginalized boxes and then being wrapped up with a pretty bow and calling it cringe, and then being sent off to the audience of neurotypicals or those who do fit into society to be made fun of.
Here's the thing that I just saw that was absolutely stupid, and this is something that I really want to fucking rant about because I hate this point so fucking much. Neurodivergent and neurotypical. I hate it when these stupid ass T channels or these stupid ass fucking people talk about neurodivergent and neuro fucking typical people. She basically is labeling the bad people or the neurotypical people. These commentary channels, they're very neurotypical, and the people that are getting attacked are very neurodivergent, when that's just not the fucking case. Just because you think about your sexuality differently or you're in the LGBTQ doesn't label you in the fucking neurodivergent section. What are you talking about? A lot of gay people, a lot of people in the fucking LGBTQ are neurotypical, I guess. Not just because their sexual preferences is different doesn't put them in the label of neurodivergent. And a great example of this is I'm not neurotypical. I have ADHD. I suffer from a lot of issues. I've suffered from a lot of issues as a kid. I was a very wild kid, very weird kid, into weird things, did a lot of weird things. And yes, I got bullied for a lot of them. But do you see me out here trying to advocate for LGBTQ people and all these different things and shitting on commentary channels? No, I'm here doing commentary because this is okay. This is good. This is normal. Commentary should exist on the platform. And again, bullies aren't these neurotypical people. You're just labeling people into specific positions. Just because some people are neurotypical that bully people isn't true. A lot of bullies are quote unquote neurodivergent because they're weird. They're different. They may have a difficult life at home. You're not countering in any other factors because you literally only think about the person being bullied and not maybe the person who is bullying. I know that's a stupid thing to say, but for example, kids get bullied all the time. Everybody's going to go through a situation in their life where they might get bullied or they might be the bully. And in a lot of situations, the bully's either going through a rough time in their life, they have a terrible parents, or they have a terrible situation. And you're just basically saying, fuck the bully, pay attention to the kid who's getting bullied. Because for me, I just ignored the situation. I ignored the bullies. I ignored a lot of the people who picked on me. Because that's what you should do. Don't let that shit fester in your fucking mind. Ignore it. That's how you're supposed to handle things. I mean, it's literally taught to you by teachers, by parents. Ignore these people. Because all they want to do to you is just upset you and hurt you. And the more you feed into that, the more they like it. It's the same thing with the fucking internet, buddy. If someone makes a video on you, either ignore it or just take the criticism and move on. And again, another example I like to use is Sensitive Society. He's made a lot of videos on people. Some of them have reacted in a bad way, literally threatening to sue him. And some have reacted by messaging him and just having a pleasant conversation with them about the situation, and then they just kind of have a friendly talk about it, move on, because they don't take the joke as hard. And that's exactly how you should react. Don't take the joke as hard. If it's really that bad, contact the person who made the video. If they respond back and are very nice to you, then boom, there you go. Don't take it so personally. That's literally the entire point, and I just don't understand that logic.
And this is just one of the many problems in cringe culture. People who are clearly way bigger in platform and fan base take these people who are not deemed worthy by society and use their millions of followers to bash people who clearly cannot defend themselves, which is bullying.
Here's a big thing I like to point out. This type of shit right here. She likes to use this kind of idea that it's mostly just these big content creators hating on these little guys and they can't defend themselves or do anything. I call fucking bullshit on that, dude. Literally, you're saying this especially about 2016. Leafy made fun of Jacob Sartorius. Do you think Jacob Sartorius didn't have a fucking fan base or something? The guy was famous for a very large period of time. He had millions and millions of followers. Same thing with Leafy. These people didn't just go after small content creators. They went after people who literally made terrible points or did stupid things. People made fun of Jacob Sartorius because he was a Musical.ly kid who got famous for lip syncing. He wasn't good at what he was doing, and that's why he's still not famous to this day. He was not good at doing what he was doing. He just got big off of Musical.ly, and it's the same thing for TikTok, dude. Half of the people nowadays make content on people who are much bigger. Another example, Achido. Achido has roughly around 150k subscribers. He's been making videos on Anna Oop. Anna Oop has 2 million subscribers. You wanna talk about that? I mean, what about me? I have 30 subs. Just hit 30, by the way. Thank you guys for the 30 subs. But I have 30 subs and I'm making a video about you and you have 400,000. If this ever gets anywhere, if this video gets out anywhere, if this video actually gets seen by people, you realize that I'm probably gonna get way more hate than I'm gonna get support. And I've had this situation happen to me before. I made a video on a Twitch streamer who was bigger than me. I got majority hate on my video because their fan base, and they sent their fan base after me. They're the type of people that would support your content. So where's your logic? It's stupid because Salem, your fans would do the same thing as these people. They would totally go after people and send hate towards these people. Did you put a disclaimer at all? I mean, I'll look back at the video and see if you put a disclaimer, but I rarely see you ever say don't send hate to these content creators now, because you kind of seem like you want hate to go their way. It doesn't make any fucking sense, Salem. Like, it literally fucking doesn't, because we don't personally want people to send hate. We just make we just make videos for the fun of it, and you are making a video basically bashing these people, and then you're probably perfectly okay with your fans bashing on them, even though you know damn well your fans are gonna bash people. You're acting like your fans don't bash people or don't say anything about it and are respectful people.
The fact that cringe people elicit a violence response in non-cringe people is very, very strange. It sounds cliche, but hurt people literally hurt people. And I know this because I used to be like that.
Oh man, I want to talk about it right now because this is the part that really pisses me off. But she likes to think that hurt people are the ones who hurt people. And she's going to talk about her situation. But again, I just want to point this out. She thinks basically that these content creators, all these content creators, they're all hurt in some sort of way. They were bullied, pushed around when they were younger, or they were bullies, or basically, etc., etc. Maybe they weren't. Maybe they just had a normal life. But to her, no. And we'll get into that.
The truth is, I used to partake in cringe culture like hardcore. I watched the compilations. I hated on the people from afar. I would watch all types of cringe content like creators, and I was miserable. And this made me the biggest jerk ever for a really long time. And I literally talk about how a lot of it has to do with hurt people, and where I come from, that is literally just 100% the truth.
There it is. It's 100% the truth. No, it's not, dude. It just literally isn't. Oh, sorry, I gotta fucking collect myself for this shit. Just because you had history where you were hurt and you liked this content does not mean that everybody else who watched it and everybody else who makes the content was hurt just like you. And she likes, and then later on in this video, she likes to point out that, you know, she got out of this bubble and now she's in reality and the world didn't revolve around her. This is literally contradicting that point because you are letting it revolve around you. You are letting it revolve around you. What? This is literally letting this entire situation revolve around you, thinking that because I was hurt, it means that other people were too, and that's why all these people exist. It's because all these people are just hurt and they went through situations in high school and they're just not letting it go. No, dude. It's just you. Not just you. I'm sure a lot of people who watch cringe content, or quote unquote cringe content, it was commentary channels, but most people who watched it were probably not hurt. Most people probably watched it because they enjoyed it. Like, for example, I wasn't hurt. I was never hurt in fucking high school. Here's a prime example. So your whole quote unquote, because it's true, 100% true, is bullshit, because I was never fucking hurt in high school. I never went through situations where I was depressed or suffered from a serious situation. Bullying, I mean, yeah, I got picked on a few times, but I wasn't hurt. I didn't let it get to me. I'd go home, I'd enjoy myself, maybe play a few video games, talk to my friends, and then enjoy the day afterwards. It was never a big situation for me throughout high school, and I did a lot of weird fucking shit. I did. It's true. But you try to think that, like, we were all hurt at one point, and you're probably gonna be like, well, you were hurt, you just don't know it. It's like, no, I wasn't hurt. I was perfectly fine. I am still perfectly fine, because I knew how to take jokes. I knew how to move on. I knew how to just live life at least a little bit.
I remember for character day, I literally went as Hatsumiku, and my mom stayed up to like 2 a.m. cutting out an old shirt to make like the sleeve things that she wears. And I didn't think anything was wrong with that until I went to school and I was immediately labeled as this weirdo. Since I didn't have any friends in the first year of middle school, I would just hang out in the hallways and draw, and I remember kids would come up to me and literally take my notebook, grab it from my hands, and fling it across the hallway. They would grab my drawings, rip it up. They would graffiti my notebook that I drew in when I wasn't looking. When I got up from my desk, I would come back and there'd be like a slur on it. And because I wore like anime stuff to school, like skirts and things of that nature, because I just wanted to look like my favorite anime characters, I was harassed in multiple ways by many of my classmates, especially male classmates.
And here's another thing. This is the part that I was going to talk about. I don't condone the bullying and stuff that you retrieve. Like, I don't think it's okay that people tossed your notebook and wrote slurs in it, obviously. But here's the thing. You went to school dressed up as anime characters as a kid. These are kids we're talking about. These aren't grown adults. These are kids. Be prepared for that to happen. You're telling me you didn't wake up thinking kids were gonna look at you differently and think weirdly of you? And here's a prime example. I'm gonna say this now, and I know this is fucking cringe of me. And it is something that I did that's really fucking cringy. But in high school, in my senior year, for Halloween, I dressed up as Belle. You know, the princess. Disney princess. I knew people thought I was weird. I knew people probably called me like fag and called me like a lot of bad things, but I didn't fucking care. I did it for one day. I did it for one day for Halloween, and I moved on from it. I thought it was funny, and a lot of my friends thought it was fucking silly and fucking stupid, and that's it. Like, literally, dude, that's it. But for example, if you're dressing up as an anime character almost every day, dude, I don't know what to tell you other than you're gonna get bullied. I used to see people like this at school all the time, and in my head, I wasn't bullying them, but in my head, I was like, dude, you probably shouldn't do that unless you're asking to get bullied. They're kids, dude. Kids don't know how to fucking act half the time, especially high schoolers, dude. I mean, Jesus Christ. There were bullies, there were assholes in school all the fucking time. It's reality. That's how kids are. And again, like, if you're gonna go to school dressed up as a fucking anime character, be prepared for shit like that, dude. I mean, I don't want to sit here and blame it on you, but like, be fucking prepared. Stop acting like it's their fault when you are the one who literally went to school dressed like that. There were kids who would go to school dressed up like a furry, and I wouldn't condone that because, first of all, I get that you are a furry and that you like wearing stuff like that, but personally, don't bring that shit to the public. Nobody wants to know that you're a furry. Do you really think people need to know that you're that deep into the furry phase and shit? Do you really think people need to know shit like that? Like, no, people don't need to know that, and you don't need to dress up like that at school. You can save that stuff for home. Personal things you like don't need to be personally shown in school. Oh fuck, oh yeah. I also dressed up as, and this is gonna be even worse. This is gonna be fucking worse. I'm gonna admit this shit to you. I was cringe in fucking high school, but even in another Halloween day, I dressed up as Pyrocynical's fucking character. Not the wolf part, don't fucking call me a goddamn furry. But I dressed up as Pyrocynical with the TV head thing. I tried making the TV head thing. I couldn't get it done in time. But that's another thing I got fucking teased for. Like, people would ask what I was. I'd say I was a YouTuber. I got a lot of fucking hate for that, but I moved on. Literally. You cannot make this shit up, dude. I'm sorry you were bullied, and I don't think you deserved it. But again, if you're gonna dress up as an anime character every day, it's gonna fucking happen. Like, you can't avoid it, and it's never gonna be avoidable. Literally, dude.
I ended up going to college 2 years early. I ended up going to college through a program called Running Start, and there I became educated. I visited the real world. I met new people with new points of views, and all of a sudden, the world wasn't about me anymore. The world didn't revolve around me anymore. I learned that other people were different, and that was okay, and that I was different, and that's okay. And it really, really made a radical change in me. I was judging people like Milo for being open with their sexuality while I was still questioning mine.
That's just called being an adult, Salem. When you move out of high school, you're gonna realize over time that a lot of these people who used to shit on you for stuff are gonna grow up and realize that they were stupid in high school. It's called being a kid and then growing up. I don't get where this logic is. And again, she makes that argument that I realize the world doesn't revolve around me, but you are literally basically revolving this video around what happened to you in high school. And basically saying that these content creators were hurt and the people who watched them were hurt because you were hurt and you did the same stuff. No, they weren't. Not all of them were. A lot of them were normal people, especially content creators. I'm sure a Cheeto and Sensitive, I'm sure that none of them were bullies. I mean, look at Sensitive, dude. That man was not a fucking bully, man. That guy was definitely not a fucking bully in high school. He was totally just a normal kid who either didn't get bullied or just wasn't bullied at all, or maybe got teased on a little bit sometimes here and there. But that's something you just can't argue against and call a fact. These SJW people and these fucking, like, TikTokers are these type of people who like to shit on other human beings and like basically just like normal people or even neurodivergent people who think like me because we're not like them and we don't think like them. They're literally the exact same thing as these content creators who shit on them. They're doing the exact same thing. It's like fighting fire with fire, dude. Like, we just make the content because it will make a content creator money, views, and because they're trying to spread a good message compared to what these guys' message is supposed to be, which is literally not a good message.
Cringe culture makes you miserable, and then you create misery for others. The only way to truly break from that cycle is to learn to let go, learn to love, learn to be open, learn to celebrate life with others, and to stand up for those who have never been shown kindness, because they're the ones who need it the most. As someone who's been in both radical sides of the scale or whatever, I've been super cringy, and I've also been the person that's like internalized the cringiness and then lashed out on others for it. Let me tell you, no matter how thriving a person seems, even through their content, their beliefs, how they talk or approach people, I know for a doubt they're miserable. The only thing that's in their head is your happiness rather than them focusing on theirs. And I really hope that one day cringe culture can completely die out altogether, because it's so much more dark and twisted and toxic than people realize, especially towards people who are clearly in marginalized groups.
And there it is. Here's the fucking end of it. Jesus Christ. About like 40. I hope this video is probably going to be about 40 minutes long. I hope not. I'm going to try to cut this down. Holy shit. But here it is. She's basically just saying, you're all hurt. And it's, like, you guys are all hurt and you guys make this content. And I really hope that these channels are gone. So you're basically internally doing worse than what we're doing. You're basically saying, I hope you all die. I hope all of your content dies out. Not like literally physically die, but like I hope all your content literally dies out. Which is fucking what? You're wishing that upon upon us. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Some of these people make this money for a living, and you're just wishing upon that some of these people just literally are gone forever. Fuck you, dude. Like, this is why I hate these fucking tea channels. Like, genuinely horrible. But anyways, guys, I don't want to drag this video out any longer. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. If you even made it to the end of the video. If you made it to the end of the video, please subscribe. Please leave a comment. Fucking, I should ask to leave something like a Cheeto usually does, but I'm probably gonna, I don't want to steal his type of, yeah, you know, his stick, so I'm just gonna leave it off at that. Subscribe, like, comment if you like the video, and yeah, I'll see you guys I'll see you guys later. Peace.